Hi, everybody. Good evening. Happy New Year. And continuing in my tradition of being peculiar, at least, we always celebrate the solstice and not so much New Year's or Christmas, because Christmas and New Year's are what the ancient celebration of the solstice has morphed into as, empires have needed to influence the calendar in order to sort of communicate how wonderful they are. Today, the Earth has completed yet another trip around the sun. And the last year has really been one of, I think, the most extraordinary and wonderful years that I have experienced in our community life. It started out with ushering my mother onto her next life, which was really an extraordinary and beautiful experience that was, I describe it as excruciatingly beautiful. Discovering that my mother was, actually a person that I completely admired and respected after hardly knowing her for most of my life was really a revelation. And seeing her transform herself or be transformed by the experience of unconditional love. Seeing her transform herself from a person locked in a whole bunch of belief and defensive routines around that belief to a person who could actually literally experience that love, take it in, and let go of her defensive routines and participate genuinely in the connection and flow was so beautiful. And to sit with her and the group of people who made a huge effort here to care for her in her final months was heartbreaking and in the most positive possible way. My mother didn't abandon her Catholicism, but she certainly rose to the highest possible plane of its existence. And, it was dazzling. And that experience speaks to me of the possibility for transformation in all of us that is, ever available. It speaks of the uselessness of opinion and attitude and judgment, and the extraordinary power of releasing tensions and allowing our own essential creative energy to flow. Also, in the last year, we had a really bad earthquake in Nepal, which touched a lot of our lives personally. We had the arrival of our longtime friend, Alexis Anderson, who is the foremost Sanskrit scholar and the foremost scholar of tantric traditions of South Asia and Southeast Asia in the world. We joined Sienna Sherman in an international effort to teach a higher level of yoga training. And we also have joined Linda Lack, who's probably the most forward-thinking yoga teacher in the world, at least in my experience, in the same effort to bring a deeper level of thought and a more skillful level of training to our yoga programs. We made tremendous progress in becoming energy and food self-sufficient, and we have come close to being completely prepared for any possible disaster that could happen to us here in Portland. All huge efforts. We've laid the foundation for the coming year, which will see, further and bigger transformations from the experiences that we've had in the last year. Oh yeah, and for the first time ever, I took a group of people and shared my experience of India with them, which was sort of a big thing for me because India has always been the place I have fled to hide from people. I love to go in places where nobody speaks English. I think as a community, we have really taken another step toward being one of the finest communities that I've ever participated in. I've participated in a few. I have to say I really appreciate the changes that have taken place in every aspect of our life together. The kitchen, it's been wonderful. The organization of the offices has been fantastic. The yoga studio is excellent, first rate. And most importantly, the mutual love and respect that I experience being demonstrated among us is constantly richer. And for me, that's the most important thing. Living together with a group of people for a long period of time, closely, everybody gets to know each other really well. And there is a tendency among us to be dismissive and judgmental based on the degree to which we are familiar. Rudy used to say, familiarity breeds contempt. And it is really wonderful for me to see the degree of respect and caring that goes on here on a regular basis. My hope for the coming year is that we will continue to, even as we get older, become less crusty and more caring and more mutually respectful of the efforts that each of us is making to bring our best self to a community endeavor and raise a level of contact, alignment, and flow that is expressing itself as the movement center. In the coming year, we're going to have, not only will the scope of our teaching be broader, but the quality of our programs, particularly in the educational domain, will become, much higher level and much richer. And there's a bunch of people working hard to see that those programs will be delivered and available for lots of people. It's amazing to me to think that, at our age, we've been together 45 years. At our age, we are still caring and still improving and still refining and still growing. It makes me really proud of all of us. So thank you very much for your sharing and your contribution to the mutual effort that we make. And I really sincerely look forward to the coming year, all the activities that we're about to engage in and all the growing we're about to do. I look forward to, continuing to share with all of you in the deepest, finest way that we can. And I look forward to increasingly refined and beautiful shared experience. My mother kind of showed me what was possible. And I don't think we really, the thing that I saw her do was just unbelievable to me. She didn't do it alone, she did it with a bunch of help from a lot of you. It was just surprising to me that she got it completely. Even as she was dying, she got it completely. And she really got into it. And she was a lot older than all of us, and not well at all. So if she can do it in her final months of her life, we can continue to do in our lives and bring ourselves to a place of completion. I mean, God knows we've been doing this long enough. Let's do it right and finish it out. Happy New Year, everybody, and let's have a party. Even though it's true that all our parties are kind of boring. Namaste.